תודה רבה. So, in the beginning, Ayla asked me to talk about demographics, technological entrepreneurships, and the future of the world. This is a lecture that I give all around the world, and I design each such lecture to the country in which I speak. So the demographics of the country, and what will happen to this country in the future, because in many of these countries don't have enough children per woman, and the population shrink, and they have problems. But then, since I only have 20 minutes, and Ella mentioned another subject, love thy science. So let me talk about love thy science, which is very good ancient English. So let me tell you about myself. Why am I a scientist? When I was 7 years old, my grandfather bought me a wonderful present, a magnifying glass. And I took that magnifying glass and was looking at every little thing in the neighborhood. And the neighborhood was wild. Bushes and trees and animals and insects. I was studying every little thing. And I fell in love with the world of small things. When I was 10 years old, the teacher in primary school told us that there is a microscope in school. Wow, I said, can you bring it to class? Yeah. So after bugging him for some time, he brought it to the class and he said, Dan, you are the most interesting. Here, come and look at the microscope. And I came to his desk and looked at the microscope, and I could not leave it. It was a little black microscope. It was amazing. I saw chlorophyll. It was unbelievable. He said, sit down, Dan, let some other children look at it. No. When I did my master's degree at the Technion in material science, the first transmission electron microscope was purchased. I was there with the technician who assembled it, a Japanese fellow who could not speak a word in English, not a word. But I followed him day and night, and I learned how to dismantle the microscope, how to clean it, how to put it together again. When you look at transmission microscopes today, it sounds unbelievable. I mean, it's looking like into an engine of a modern car. Boxes. You don't understand what's going on. But at that time, it was part by part. I learned how to operate the microscope. I learned the science of the microscope. I learned how to teach transmission electron microscopy. I became an expert in transmission electron microscopy. And that is why I could make discoveries in transmission electron microscopy, and that brought me some prizes. So, you see, it all started with a magnifying glass. And my recommendation to you is what I do now to my grandchildren, all 10 of them, temporarily. I buy them stereo microscopes. These are microscopes with 2 objectives and 2 eyepieces, and you can see things in 3 dimensions, not very high magnification, 60, 70 times max. But it gives a notion of what's happening in the world of small things. How do insects look? How does a feather look? Things which are amazing. And if you spend time with them on the microscope, you will raise a new generation of scientists. So this is my story. But let's go now to what we really need to do. You see, I came from a world in which we encourage entrepreneurship. 28 years ago, I started a class called Technological Entrepreneurship at the Technion. And this was the driving force that directed me to different directions. And Ed Malavsky, who sits here, spoke there in my class, and he was the only speaker who spoke in English, and the students did not faint. So the class is going on for 28 years. Now it's taken over by Shlomo Meital, since I am too much abroad, and it still continues, and it's a large class. And by now, maybe 1 or 2 of you took my class, I don't know. But anyway, there are about 10,000 engineers and scientists in Israel who took my class. And this is a great achievement for a small country. And over that period of time, Israel became a startup nation. And I think I have something to do with it. But nowadays, we do not have enough young people who want to become engineers and scientists and medical doctors. These are computer experts. These are the people that open startups. And there are not enough of them in this country. And less, the Technion find it difficult to recruit good students. And that's very bad. So I thought, what can be done about it? Why do some people want to become engineers and scientists and other people do not? And I said, teach them from the very beginning, as early as possible. Teach them science, real science, and show them that science is fun, and show them that when you understand the world around you, it's wonderful. So I proposed to start to teach science in kindergartens in Haifa. Yona Yav, the mayor of Haifa, took the challenge, and we started a program to teach science in kindergartens in Haifa. And there is a group of scientists in Mother Tech in the museum who teach 60 kindergarten teachers who then go and teach the young people science. It does not work. It doesn't work because the kindergarten teachers, maybe they can understand what they are told, but they cannot transfer the information to the children. And the children are very bright. Young children are not retarded adults. Young children are very, very smart. You know, you try to learn a language in 1 year. Every child in the world does that. I cannot do that. I bet you cannot do it either. When they are 1 year old, they don't speak. When they are 2 years old, they don't stop speaking. So teach the young. And because this didn't work in kindergarten, it's still going on. And by the way, I spoke to the mayor of Haifa half an hour ago on a different subject. He told me that he wants to show me the new scientific kindergartens. This is better. Small numbers, but real science, scientific kindergartens that they open in Haifa. I hope it will spread. So, children. And then I said, well, how can I reach larger audience? So I started a television program called Liot Mad'an in Professor Dan on the Chinuchit, channel 23. And I made there 10 clips in physics, real science, no hocus pocus, no liquid nitrogen, no bubbles, nothing like that. Very basic science. What is science? How do you measure? Every quantity has a value. This is 10 centimeters, right? And the temperature is, and so on and so forth. Right? What are the units? Use units. You say a number, what is the unit? 10 shekels. Okay, fine. That's good too. Then the government pounced upon the television channels and they want to close them, and then they stopped cooperating with me. But I wanted to do 10 more programs in air sciences to understand the world around us, water cycle and so on, and 10 in biology, starting from the basic amoeba that started there and going up through flora and fauna and the development and Darwin and natural selection, and then to the human body, function of the heart and the lungs and so on and so on. This is what I wanted to do. Maybe I would do it in another country sometime in the future. So start early is one mantra. Okay, so I want a child to say, I like science because I understand science. And you know, do this experiment. You have children, some of you have maybe grandchildren. Ask them, what is your favorite subject in school? And they will say chemistry, biology, Bible studies, literature. This is question number one. Question number two, who is your best teacher? Fantastic correlation. The best teacher is the teacher of the subject they like. So teachers are the most important people in the world because they hold the future of nations in their hands. And here in Israel, we fail big time, big time. There are many, I visit many countries. I speak to ministers of education and presidents, and they all understand that the most important natural resource is human ingenuity. We have abundance of it. Our government doesn't recognize it, as far as I can tell. The president of South Korea comes out and declares, innovation, give me innovation. And it trickles down to all levels of education system, innovation. And I tell her, this is wonderful, innovation, yes, but entrepreneurship will take the innovation and make products. So you should also teach technological entrepreneurship so the innovations will become something which is useful. Yes, we do innovation in universities, but no, we usually do not develop products in universities. The entrepreneurs do that, encourage them also. We have here in Israel a growing society, growing population of people who think that the only proper education is religious education. And you know that less than 50% of the children in Israel go to public schools? Less than 50%? And it's declining every year. All right? Less than 50%. I think this is a disaster. I think it's very, very bad. This should be corrected. Now, I don't want to compare our wise religious ayatollahs. No way, no way. These are totally barbarian people. And you know what? They tell the young people in Iran, go study science and engineering. Those ayatollahs encourage science and engineering. Okay, so, you know, they already win. They do better than us. Iran does better than Israel in competitions. Okay, but of course, let them win Chidon Tanakh. They will never do that. Right. Okay. I want to propose a couple of things. Number one, I would like to see a strategic plan in Israel that will encourage more people to become engineers and scientists. And I mean in the broad sense. Number one, strategic plan. And other countries have that. You know, this is a race. We all race. We cannot stay behind. We need strategic plan. When you speak in Israel about what is the strategy, okay, so here is the strategy. The Hamas, we control them here. The Hezbollah in the north, we control them there. And of course, Iran, we have all these weapons. This is okay. That's very important. This is one strategy. But strategy has many faces. And the strategy of the future of education in Israel is job one, in my opinion. And we should stress that. And each one of you, in his own circle, should encourage that strategic plan. This is one. Number two, there is no civilian research center in Israel to speak about. Okay, there is Migal, which is wonderful. But look at the United States. Every office, or every ministry, as we call it, has research centers. The Ministry of Health of the United States has NIH, the budget of which, I think, I don't know, but it's larger than the budget of the State of Israel. Right? I mean, these are huge research centers. This is what makes the United States so advanced. And in Israel, we don't have one like this. And let me tell you something. When I proposed such a research center, be a synchrotron, right? Something that will encourage scientists to come from abroad and build these things, those people who cannot be professors in universities because the numbers are limited. Right? Let's make one civilian research center. I met tremendous opposition, you know, from whom? From the scientists. What? my budget will go to open something? No way. We don't need anything like this. This is why we need somebody from above, strategic plan that will say, we need civilian research centers. We need more people who will want to be scientists and engineers in their future. And this is why we should encourage teaching science and engineering, okay? And everybody should be taught basic knowledge, okay? We cannot afford that half of the country will not know anything about mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, and all this. We cannot afford this pleasure. No, we cannot afford it, all right? And our governing system, I mean, this is a famous, wonderful Israeli democracy, is taking us, dragging us down. That's not very good. So I have no solution to that, but I know what should be done. And what should be done is that every child in Israel will have a chance to become engineer and scientist. Okay, musician, wonderful. Painter, wonderful. I'm not against the arts. I'm all for arts. The arts gives taste to our lives, but life is given by you people. This is the economy, this is the startups, these are the engineers, these are the scientists that give us life. I want to finish by asking you a question. And, you know, people ask me, you know, you made a discovery. Okay, what is the role of chance in your discovery? And I said, 100%. Really? Well, let us think a little bit. What were your chances to be born? 0. Think about it. Think about the process. Sperm, good sperms, and so on. And one sperm was you. But your mother was born too. All right? So if your chances to be born to your parents, let's say it's 1 in 100 million, then you have to multiply it so that your mother will be born, and her mother, and your father, and his father. Forget about the chance that they have met. I mean, this is nothing. And go back to the first amoeba. Huh? So it's 0, right? Okay. And yet you're all here. Everything is chance. I could speak for hours about everything that happened in my life, but it was pure chance. I'll tell you one story and I will finish with it. I made my discovery that brought me those prizes because I went to my first sabbatical to NBS, National Bureau of Standards in the United States. Why did I go there? Because there was a very famous scientist from there who visited my department at Technion and stayed there for some time. And one day, I am at the electron microscope, seeing something that I knew was very interesting to him. So I go upstairs to his room, and he's in his room. And I said, you want to see something interesting? Come to the microscope. Oh, yes, why not? He came to the microscope. He said, wow, we tried for 2 years to do what you do just like that. Come spend your sabbatical with us. This is the scenario that was. I'll tell you a scenario that was not. I go to his room. I knock on the door. He's in the bathroom. Nothing happens. Chance or not chance? So everything is that. But the chance presents you with a possibility, and you should understand that this is something that I can grab. And you people are fantastic examples of those people who did that, who did just that, okay? Chance brought you. You spoke to somebody, an idea came up, and so on and so forth. This is all chance. And so we need more people like you that grab the chance and make it into a great success. Thank you very much.